ASL Premier League Season 2, Group Stage, Round of 16.
One of the day, we are going to have, in the bottom left-hand corner, it is Deadly Gaming, right? Right, left?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I bet $1 million with Deadly Gaming. All right, it's going to be the Purple Protoss, our co-caster. Not today, but other days. It is.
EnderSword.
And across the map from him, in teal and from Europe and Germany, looking teamless, it's our Terran player.
dNa.
You know, it's fun to start off here. Just before we started actually talking, they were talking, and they were arguing over whose beer types were better. I hope I didn't prompt that.
I think you might have done.
Now they're fighting over Canadian beers versus German beers.
I don't know any Canadian beers, but I do know that is a crafty hidden barracks coming out of dNa that Ender has yet to see.
Oh, and you know what? He probably stuck... Well, you know what? That's the second one. He still dropped the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of crafty. What? He does not want to indicate that he's going 2 racks quick, huh?
No, and yet, scouting around at this time in the game, you know that your opponent should be putting down a command center fairly shortly if he's not planning on doing something. And yet, dNa's opening Marine rather than Reaper. So...
I'm wondering if he's trying to play coy here.
Yeah.
And he's got that one Marine, but he's got the reactor going. The other racks can be done. And then he's going to have the ability here to produce... I want to see if Reapers come out of this.
Tech
Lab. Be a tech lab.
No, so it's going to be 2 racks pressure. This is a 2 racks opening, and it's specifically designed to punish a Protoss who opened greedy. When you go for this 2 racks style of things, these days at least, what you're trying to do is basically get a Nexus cancel off before the Mothership Core has time to be able to drop an overcharge on it. And it can be quite effective. It used to be Wings of Liberty meta in the early game for Terran to do this, and now what we see is a kind of resurgence of the old style because it fits into a natural timing against the classic Gateway Expand build order.
Now, here's what's interesting, though. I mean, you don't want to scare your opponent. If EnderSword had come in here and not seen a Rax, you know he would have gone scouting everywhere for a proxy. He didn't do it, but he went immediately for concussive shells and marauders. So I absolutely agree with you that this is going to be a 2 racks pressure here. What time do you think he's going to push out? What supply?
It'll be when he gets the 2nd Marauder, realistically, or when he gets the 5th Marine, is what you usually see. And in fact, the 5th Marine has now graced the field, so this extra Marauder could be the tipping point. But what I think is more critical is to note is that Ender has not expanded yet. Ender has taken an extra 2 gateways before even thinking about expanding. And this could be a pretty strong counter to the process. Simply because with these 2 Marauders and these 5 Marines pushing across the map, yes, those are bio, yes, they are good on gateway units, but Ender's going to have some good coverage against all of this. He's going to have units that he otherwise might not have. I'm just not 100% sure this is the correct response, rather than actually to just be more greedy. I don't see a way that this Nexus isn't going to get cancelled because there's absolutely no overcharge coming off of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are 4 SCVs coming with this army. So what do you think? Cancel this, bunker contain?
Could absolutely be that. I think that would be a pretty good idea as well, especially considering the late tech out of EnderSword. Although, dNa doesn't know about that yet. Here it comes.
Oh,
so the gates are finished. Where's the force field? Where's the force field? No force field going down on that ramp.
Oh my goodness, where's the force
He's
field?
up in the main. He's going to be so pressed to hold this. Overcharge is going to help considerably, but with good micro, you can pull those Marauders and Marines back. Nice catch on that, though.
Yeah, but now the Zealots can't do any damage.
No. And there's only one force field. he gets out. He's alive.
All right, now I'd like to see a bunker go down.
All the SCV chicks are going to dig him because he's got these battle scars.
Yep, that's right. He's like, yeah, I got this one from a force field.
Yeah, man.
Photon overcharge, nothing on me.
Yeah, this is a pretty good spot for dNa to be in. As he throws down his own command center back at home, this is exactly where you want to be after this 2 racks pressure. You've done everything you wanted to do, and your opponent I mean, Ender wasn't even greedy. He went for a defensive play, and it still absolutely failed to deal with this. So even though his own Nexus is going down at this point, I'm wondering who comes out of this ahead. It does look like Ender has more probes, but dNa's very late command center perhaps could hold him back. No, this is going to get cancelled.
Boy, here we go again. He's going to continue to deny this.
Good force. No.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough, though.
No. Hasn't got a sandwich. Those units aren't trapped. They're just able to...
he's going to force a cancel again. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there we go.
At least he canceled it, but at the same time...
Yeah, and
he has stim done now, too.
Oh, God.
Oh, my.
So you can just outrange those zealots all day. Good damage done by EnderSword, I have to say, to this force. But back at home, dNa just has a replacement by the sheer nature of Terran production, and his own command center is almost complete. So this is a sketchy spot to be in as a Protoss player.
Absolutely.
Really, really unpleasant.
We have a factory going down finally. We got 2 more racks, so he's going to go up to 4. And yeah, he's going to be way ahead now. I mean, the Nexus has still not been dropped. So every second that Nexus doesn't go down, we're at a fully saturated EnderSword. There's nothing else he can do at his main. As far
I
as
actually don't think we're going to see it at all. I think that we're going to see basically a kind of one base Immortal Sentry style of thing. And I know that's really weird. And no, he's taking the expansion. No, he's cancelled that forge. But that's... I think going for a one base play at this point with a couple of Immortals and good force fields might have been a good answer. Whereas instead, we're now seeing this weak gateway force that's going to have to hold off against a huge amount of stimmed bio moving its way across the map from dNa.
Yeah, here we come again. And is he working on... He's got combat shields going to be done in 20 seconds. Is he going to wait for it?
The saving grace, I guess, is there is a time warp. But remember that time warp only lasts for 10 seconds now.
And...
their pylon's going down, and this is going to be so difficult to engage, especially if the Nexus goes down. He needs to kind of wall off with force fields against that Nexus.
He's going to go ahead and engage this. Half the units are behind the force fields. The Zealots...
That's a nice time warp, though. This could actually play out. The Immortal's done real work picking off those Marauders, and the whole army of dNa has actually been picked off.
Nice job there, Ender. Keep yourself in this.
We can show him bias. He's the last one.
Hey, I got a bet saying dNa goes 4-0 today, but I'm still rooting for Ender, so...
Yeah.
Either way. But I think, what's the APMs for these guys? 140 for dNa, 74 for Ender. And that's pretty standard for Ender, I know for sure.
He plays really slowly, yeah. But, I mean, he does it well, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's how you use it.
Exactly.
So, he's got that Nexus down. Now he's going to transfer all those excess probes he had made. How many workers have been killed? Negligible, 3 and 2.
Yeah, not that many have actually died, but keeping Ender on one Nexus for so long has meant that dNa's had double SCB production and double mules for a really long time.
Yes, he has. Now here comes those medevacs. Those are going to be painful.
Yeah.
I don't mind engaging a bio army if you can snipe those medevacs or get them before they get them. But after they get them, oh my god, it is so
They are
hard.
tricksy beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Just pinning him down.
Yeah, because then you have to try to focus fire those down just to go after the units. And especially when I'm playing as Protoss, I try to blink forward and snipe them. But, oh, there's that observer spotting the army here. Nose hope. Here he comes again. And this time he's going to be far more ready. We got Colossus, Immortal Sentry.
You have to be super careful with the Colossus, though, until it gets that Thermal Lance, which, it doesn't have it right now. There's a lot of Marauders in that composition, easy enough to go, boom, Colossus is dead. And that, I think, is what Ender really needs to be careful of. That's the big risk. And he actually doesn't necessarily know. I know he's putting it back. He doesn't know exactly when his opponent's coming in, but he knows that it is soon. It's actually now. Here it is. This is the moment. Drop that Time Warp.
He was trying to get the
nice
Mothership Core. Well, was unable to do so. Oh, but he's going to go drop in the main.
Those are really nice force fields, and actually Ender is prepared for this already getting ready to catch it, but he's trying to split his army in half and make sure he doesn't... No, he's seen it now. Okay, so the whole army's going up to the front. If there was a force towards the front, it could be stimming in trying to pick off the natural. If he gets those medevacs...
Oh, and he gets away.
Yeah, those are waiting to come back in, and the bio is going to stim into the natural at this point as well. Going to pick off that probe, attempt to put down some pylons, trying to get the Nexus, but to absolutely no avail. Can't do that just yet. But dNa's multitasking has been so strong. It's only thanks to this observer force of... losing the observer, actually. That's nice.
There goes the observer. There's one very soft Colossus and one very soft Mothership Core.
Yeah. Well, the Mothership Core is pretty soft at the best at times, but it's extra soft at the moment.
Yeah, extra squishy. Where are we at on saturation? +7 for dNa, not counting mules. 1/1 upgrades are done as well.
You can't rule out the fact that if Ender decides to just push with the third Colossus and just goes, yeah, I'm going to go and try and kill you now, then we could just see this moment where the game ends for a Terran. It's very hard against a well-micro Protoss force to deal with it. And there's a drop in the main, but dNa wasn't focusing on it.
Oh,
Is that Colossus going to make it? Is the Colossus going to make it? It's not going to make it.
And he's going to focus down the weak one.
Oh! That's so major! That is effectively 2 Colossi, and, 1 Colossus worth of money, but that is great. That is so, so good to see for dNa. That's exactly what he needed to keep himself alive and in the game, and with that, things are looking distinctly less than peachy for EnderSword.
Less than peachy. Absolutely. Look at the resources lost, just for a second here. Look at that right now.
Wow. There is
as close to identical as possible. 7
minerals.
Is it 13? Okay, 13 minerals. 13. That's pretty damn close. Yeah. Third base has been spotted by dNa. So
dNa's everywhere.
Yep, and he's getting his third down as well.
Even dropping in the main, picking up and getting out, getting another pylon for his trouble, just keeping his opponent suppressed in such a good way. And it's the multitasking out of our Terran player has been exactly what you need to see. That's how Terran can win out against Protoss in the mid and late game, by multitasking with just that superior control. And it's difficult when you don't have the observer network that Pig Baby popularized to really deal with that sort of harassment.
Oh, he split his army.
Oh, that's a risk. Okay.
Yeah, it's still too much. Still too much for dNa to handle.
Yeah, the medevac fleet is going to pick up and drop off on the other side, but this little force could just burst in and try and take out the third. It's finishing now as well.
Yep. And he's got his drop ready in the main again.
3 prongs right now. We're going to see the stim forward in the main. He's going to do some damage, pull the army back, and then run towards the third. The timing on this is so perfect!
Oh my god, you're right. And the third base has no chance here. The main is in trouble. And Ender just doesn't know which direction to go.
No, he's
not going to save either one.
He's just getting shredded all over the place, and dNa is showing why he went 4-0 before, and is advancing his way towards perhaps even doing it again.
Oh my goodness, absolutely great, phenomenal multitasking here. And all he's got to do now is incorporate some Vikings in, and I see 2 at a time on the way. And
there's only 1 Colossus left.
What was that?
There's only 1 Colossus left. He's got 1 Colossus with his army. He isn't producing one. I don't think
he switched to Templar. He got Storm.
Yeah. I mean, Storm is great. Storm, if dNa doesn't micro well, then Storm could be game winning or
dNa
game. Yeah, and that's the problem. That is exactly what I'm saying, because dNa has been so on point with the micro so far. I don't see a way in the unless he goes again. Completely whiffs it. He's going to take out the rebuilding main Nexus. No cancel on that.
And if he gets a Cyber Core, got it.
Stalkers.
Oh my goodness, the infrastructure.
Yeah, that isn't that big a deal. Losing the Cyber Core, because Stalkers aren't really what he needs to be building at this point. But what he needs.
Oh, I would be screaming if I was EnderSword right now.
Well, I imagine he's not best pleased about how many Nexuses he's lost, and there's another one going down towards the third base. Yep.
Oh, he got that one. He canceled at least.
Yes, but there's 1 Nexus remaining for EnderSword. However, his army. Yeah, his army is good. He's got the splash. He's got Archons. Where are the Storms? How many High Templar does he have active at this point in time?
Let's see. He has 3.
3. 3
isn't
have
enough energy to fire a couple times.
Yeah. Is it game winning though? So much of the army is in medevacs, and it's back at Ender's base. And I think if he just pushes for it, we'll see a base race.
Well, and you know what? A base race is going to end in favor of Terran because he can lift off.
Exactly. Ender is on his last legs in this game, perhaps, as he pushes forward into the natural in a desperate attempt to make something happen. It's a strong Protoss army. I'm not going to underestimate it, but
every unit that dNa can focus down on the high ground here is 1 less unit he's going to have to deal with.
Nice Storm. Oh, fantastic Storm. Oh, that's exactly the kind of thing he needed to get to make this perhaps a fighting chance. But at this point, does he even have any hidden buildings? He's got his army in the main. He's got everything else is back at home, and there's this one pylon left. And the probot on the map's being focused down.
Yep.
This is going to be difficult for Ender to win.
I'm pulling up the structures tab now. We got to keep tabs on that. There's 6 left. I'm pretty
falling.
dNa should be fine here. He lifted his command center. That should be enough for him.
2 left. Building a nexus, a desperation nexus at the 3rd or 4th, depending on how you feel or whether you're an aggressive zerg.
I don't blame him. He's trying to survive. He knows he's got the army advantage right now. Can he get?
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically he doesn't, but I'm thinking about the medevacs, I think.
They are drifting. They are literally drifting right at it. Look at them. Look at them. They're flying right at it. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, that is the last one.
Now,
he just dropped another one last second.
But it's next to all the SCVs.
Yeah, right next to the SCVs. Oh my god, he is trying so hard. But he's sending the army over there. He knows he has to hold that base or it's over.
If the probe's gone down, there is no more Nexuses coming out of EnderSword, and with that, I think the only thing we're going to be seeing is 2 little letters.
The SCVs! The SCVs for the win!
Letters. No letters. No letters out of EnderSword, but that's a fair way to let that game end, I think.
Which now makes me even feel more like it's Terran favorites. But in the bottom left-hand corner, from Deadly Gaming, one of our casters of the ASL, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays. We need to keep the Protoss alive, folks. So let's hear it for
EnderSword.
And his opponent across the map and looking strong after that first game. In teal from Europe, it's our German Terran.
dNa.
Yeah, Germany versus Canada here. And you know what? You'd think the upper hand would go to Canada because for Germany, what is it, like 3 in the morning? Something like that? So Canada, he's awake. He's awake. Yeah. You know? But it looks like dNa, he must not sleep or he must have a whole bunch of Red Bulls next to him after that first game. All over the map. So let's see what happens this game.
He's pretty nervous. He did mention in the lobby that his hands were shaking during that game, but you wouldn't have known because his micro was so on point.
You notice he's doing the same thing again?
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that he does have one fairly reliable, tried and tested build, and I think that was one of the reasons why I saw that the first time around, and I knew there was a reason why I was a little bit skeptical about dNa, because I remembered him being a good player, but I wasn't sure if he was as good as everyone was saying. And this is why, because he very much has one build that he does almost every time, and it's obviously very effective, and he makes it work because he's a good player, but that lack of variety means that Ender might be able to see it coming. But he's just doing the same thing again himself, from the look of things.
The question is, do you think Ender's saying to himself, I should expect the same thing again?
He scouted.
Okay. He scouted and saw exactly what he saw the first time, which is 1 Rax and a refinery. And then his probe got killed.
Yeah.
And here we go again, concussive shells and marauders. I mean, yeah, he's literally going to do the same thing again. But the question is, how does Ender react? Well, he's going to have the mothership core coming out right now, so it's going to have some time to build up at least. How about that natural? How is he going to get that natural down?
In my opinion, faster. The faster you take the natural base, in a weird way, if you take the base faster, it's more defensible, as long as they're not going for like an outright 2 racks, because if you get that really quick natural up and the fast mothership core as well, you can overcharge off it. You can just go, okay. So actually, the way I would choose to deal with this is I would open double gas and make sentries and a mothership core whilst taking my natural.
Right.
Because then I'd have the minerals from this. When I'm making sentries, obviously I'm not spending that many minerals, so I'd have the time, I'd be able to get the natural up, and I'd be able to force field them out of my main, whilst putting the overcharge down on the natural. And then I think he should have drive away.
Do you think he should have dropped 3 gates or used some of that money and that robotics bait he just dropped to get that Nexus down?
Well, I think he should have not done the gates, put the Nexus down, and then followed it up with the gates, and then the robotics.
As well.
Yeah,
because here comes the army again.
Is good.
And he's got the SCVs coming again. What's with the SCVs? Unless he's planning on bunkering, I just don't get it.
I think they might be tanking for Zealots. He brings those along in case he needs bunkers, and they provide great tanking against the Zealots unless the focus fire is right from the Protoss, which means that you have this kind of option. Oh, it's happening again. He's just going to walk straight up the ramp. Ender isn't prepared, but this time he might lose the mothership. No, gets the overcharge off once again. But you see how the only things... Oh, but that is the force field he wanted in the first game.
Yeah, but the army's safe.
This map's just too big.
The army can just stay in a safe location here. There's enough Marauders here to do some damage. He's just... Okay, now he can back out if he wants to.
I actually kind of would like to have seen a probe pull out of Ender. If he had the second Nexus, and if he had the extra probe count from that, then I think if he'd pulled probes... Marauders aren't that great against probes. And without Stim especially. So having those to add a little bit of buffering and trap the Terran units, most of all becoming a body force field, then... Ender could have got this engagement that he wanted when he needed it, but as it is, there's a lot of Marauders here. The net on the natural isn't going down anytime soon, and even with this Immortal coming out, dNa's basically got what he wanted with his own command center going down in the natural and just in general looking very, very strong. Yeah,
he's ahead again. Here comes Immortals again, and the army's just going to head back home. He knows the CC's going down first. He already applied some pressure. Resources lost. About, nothing significant up to this point. And...
This game, I think we might see that one base push. I think Ender's going to get 2 or 3 Immortals and just decide to walk across the map and kill his opponent. He's got a lot of gas, which I'd love to see warped into sentries as soon as possible, because those sentries will keep the SCVs off the bunkers that should be coming up. But right now, not even any bunkers at the front. dNa feels that safe going into this mid game. And if this force of Ender pushes across the map, if he has the force fields to keep the Terran army controlled, this is gonna... Or this certainly could end very badly for dNa. Not the way he wanted it to end at all.
Yeah, he is moving out. There goes a probe. I've seen Ender so far have some good force fields and some horrendous force fields. So...
He knows.
It may just come down to that. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, he knows because that Marine just got killed. But there's only one sentry in this army. How much energy are you going to really have?
He warped in 2 more. He warped in 2 more, so he's going to have a couple more force fields. Here it is. This could be the engagement he needs. The pylon's going down, but with... good force field to start it off, and a time warp to back it up. 1 Marauder goes down, 2 Marauders go down. Good force fields could be winning end of this game right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's got the army out of position. There's nothing over here. There's 5 Marines. Oh my goodness, where are the other ones? Picking off the pylon to make sure there's no reinforcements.
Is that going to matter? I think this force is going to run across the map. No, he's coming home. He's sending the bio home, but there's 3 Immortals here, straight in the base. Ender has turned the tables in game 1, even on the start of this game, and at this point, all the SCVs are being pulled.
Yeah, he has to. He doesn't have a choice.
Great surround, though. Really nice.
Trying to focus down the Immortal. Got it.
There's still 2 left. There's still 2 left. It's not going to be enough, I'm afraid.
Oh my goodness, and he's just going to force field him to death.
Boom.
Oh my. I'd go ahead and lift my structures here.
GG.
There's a GG from dNa, and EnderSword's going to win this game really quickly.
That is what he should have done in the first game.
Deadly Gaming, our co-caster of many days, the Purple Protoss.
EnderSword.
And his opponent, who might have to think up a new strategy for this game through a merry-go-round, in teal, in the top left, it's our German Terran.
dNa.
Tasty.
Alright, do we see a hidden second Rax anywhere? Because I sure don't.
Not yet. Give him time. He's thinking about it.
Yep, look at, the SCV's going down there. Yep.
Oh no! No new strats. And the thing is, Ender already knows how to deal with this. The question is, has dNa learned from his defeat in the previous game? Does he think that he can now hold an immortal counterswing? Because it's possible if you get the bunkers down. But without bunkers, you could be in some significant trouble.
Absolutely. There's the basic scout, and Ender not seeing anything he hasn't seen the past 2 games.
At this point, he has to be just going, oh, for goodness sake.
Not again.
Every time.
Yeah, he already dropped that second gateway. And with that second gate, I kind of feel like we're going to see a one-base play again.
I wouldn't be surprised by it at all.
No, neither would I.
Classic Protoss. But in a more serious note, it's the best response to this. The 2-Rax pressure, you just have to hold the initial and then counter swing. As we saw from Ender in the previous game, that's exactly what he did. It swung him the victory. And this game, I wouldn't be surprised if he just executes the same build as he did before, nice and clean, and pulls the game back off of dNa. At the same time, it would be unwise to count dNa out because he's shown great play so far, great control and great macro. So maybe he has some kind of trick up his sleeve that's going to cause this to backfire horribly if Ender goes to the same strat he did in the previous.
Well, you know what my best thought is? Number one, somebody just said, Immortals eat bunkers for breakfast. Well, that's absolutely correct. So here's the key to me, is less Immortals, more Marines, and quicker stim. Because they don't do the additional damage to Marines. And Marines have higher DPS and can cut down those shields. So if he goes for an Immortal Stalker and then he can stutter step, I mean, you're still going to have a couple of Immortals mixed in there, but I think he needs a higher quantity of Marines this time. What do you think?
It's really hard to execute that, because the reason you get that fast tech lab is for the concussive with the initial push, and then you follow up with a fast stim. So that's where you need that, and then you don't get really that many more Marines. He doesn't have the Immortals to hold the initial push as well. Basically, I don't think that going for a more Marine-heavy push will necessarily swing it either way for dNa, but I do think that having the bunkers, and whilst whoever was said Immortals eat bunkers for breakfast is right, they totally do. Having a retreating wall of bunkers whilst you're gradually wearing down the Immortals with the Marines, that's when they come into play a little bit later. That can work. That can work, and I know because I've lost to it before, and it's a pain. It's really annoying. You just find yourself shoving back and back and back, never killing the bio, and then eventually it stims forward and all your stuff dies.
Yep. Well, stim's on the way. Here we go again. Third game in a row, we are going to literally see the same exact thing.
From both players.
Oh, and he can squeeze in if he wants to.
When he gets an SCV. Equal now, both having lost a worker, and actually dNa is ahead on worker supply, and that's not right. That shouldn't be the case. So this could be quite interesting as this big bioforce pushes towards the base. Nice time warp, swinging it perhaps a little bit closer to Ender and not overextending, which is smart. But now there is no overcharge, so he has to be very careful.
Yeah, that's right. Burning that time warp really took away from that.
It was a good time warp, but no, I think he's going to be able to get away with this. Picking off those Marauders with great focus fire out of EnderSword. He just has to not overextend. Because 2 Marauders can beat 3 Stalkers any day of the week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Having the kite's the hard part and kill the Stalkers.
Yeah.
And 1 Marine's the only one coming back. He's sending everything back to his main. Hasn't dropped a natural yet and going to go 2 more racks.
This is actually perfect for EnderSword as it stands, but what he now decides to do decides the outcome of the game, because dNa is going more all in. dNa isn't throwing down that command center, as you said. He is now going for the full all-in attack, and Ender, if he's late with this robo as well, which isn't great. In the previous game, he had an Immortal by this point, whereas now he doesn't even have a robo finished. So this is I hate
pinging on the map, but I'm doing that just to point out he's setting up to move out.
It's an aggressive pylon. Risky aggressive pylon too. You could put it closer and less obvious if you just moved it a little bit further up into the dark area that no one's visited yet. And also the place I think he's putting it down is in vision. No, he's moving it up. He's moving it up. Great.
Okay,
fantastic.
He relocated it. Good move.
Awesome. Yeah. The Immortals are so late out of Ender. 1 bunker isn't enough. You need about 6.
And he's supply blocked.
Which one?
Ender. But he just fixed it.
There we
go. So it
Quite
delayed that Immortal just a little bit.
It's delayed enough as it is.
All right. Well, we're gonna have what, 4 functional racks here in just a second. And
the add-ons coming down. Ooh, reactors too. This is where the Marines are going to be the strong ones with no upgrades for a Protoss player, and using Immortals as the primary tool. Yeah, you really are going to struggle.
He scanned and he saw the robotics phase, so he said, "Okay, he's going Immortal. He's not going Templar. So I'm going to go ahead and spam more Marines."
Mm-hmm. Getting that first Immortal out now. Again, with the good force field, and Ender is going to have so much energy for force fields by the time it gets round to an actual attack. In fact, he's putting down his natural. He's mad. Has this been seen?
Yeah, that surprises me. But it got spotted. I want to see if that got spotted.
No,
yeah,
it did.
Okay.
So yeah, he knows. But actually, throwing down this natural isn't the worst idea because you can transition.
He's all in.
Oh, he is, yeah. His opponent is all in. But with good force fields, Ender can hold this. It's a shame that the natural Nexus won't be finished because then he could overcharge off it. But as it stands, he's taken a relatively safe kind of expansion style, very kind of early Wings of Liberty meta with the kind of 3-gate robo expand. And this is still meta in PvP, but he is going to struggle to hold this because all of the SCVs are here. The boys have been brung.
God, here we go.
Time warp.
This is going to be it. Holy crap.
Good force fields coming down. I'd love to see a Guardian. Yes, pop now. Drop that time warp. Can he hold? Can Ender hold against this? I'm not sure he can.
I don't know. I haven't figured out who's winning this yet.
The Immortals are being focused. No, I think he might hold. The Marines have all been killed off. dNa has to pull back. Could this be the end? Could dNa be dropping to the losers bracket?
Oh my goodness. Who would have saw this coming?
I didn't, I have to say.
He got all the Immortals. But
at this point, without a command center to follow this up from dNa, having lost that many SCVs in the push, Ender is looking so good right now. As long as he keeps his production up, there could potentially be one last-ditch attempt out of dNa, but I don't know what he's planning. I can't see a way for dNa to win this at this point. He looks so behind, and Ender looks so confident as we move at the 12:30 mark into the early mid-game.
It's certainly possible that even, I hate to say this, but this could be a time that he goes into a turtle mode.
Ender? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about dNa. Because he's so far behind, lock himself down on 2 bases.
I just kicked the table.
That's the only thing I can think of to keep him in the game because of how far behind he is to turtle and get his macro back.
I don't think you... If Ender just pumps out Colossi, it isn't going to matter how much turtle we see. We've got Thermal Lance on its way and actually being chrono boosted, which means that Ender can move out with the second Colossus in theory and just try and just kill dNa. Just kill him. Kill him with the fire and the lasers.
And the lasers.
Yeah, it's what every Protoss really wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they do enjoy it.
The best thing you can get a Protoss for Christmas is fiery death. And that's what Ender's hoping to get. He's not actually building any more Colossi, which is a little bit unusual, but I think he's saving up for it.
What is he's chronoing out +1 actually, +1 armor, and he doesn't. Okay. All right. Well, this is what I mean. Is the longer it takes Ender to move out, the more I feel like dNa might have a shot.
I think Ender's going to hit a 2-base timing and kill his opponent in a fairly comprehensive fashion. I'm surprised to see him move out with 1 Colossus. I would be. He's coming back. I think that's a good call.
Well, here comes a drop.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's on its way.
Yeah, we got a 2 medevac drop, and it's going straight for the main. It snipes that robotics base, slows down the Colossus production. Should be able to snipe that Colossus bay or take out some workers. Which way would he get? Which way would you go?
Picking off the Colossus Bay, if he gets it now before range completes, it's instrumental. If he, other than that, and he's not going to get it, it's finished now. If I'd go for the robotics facility. If he picks off the actual robo, or pylons are also not a bad choice. Workers, anything he can get at this point is good, as long as he doesn't lose too much for it. But Colossus revealed, range revealed.
Yep, everything he wanted, he needed information. Didn't have to burn a scan to get it. Phoenix is going out there to scout, saying, okay, there's actually not a ton back over here.
No, and Ender's moving out, as I think is probably the right decision at this point. I would have liked to have seen a 3rd Colossus, but his actual Colossus production's been a little slow, and he's actually quite supply blocked, so a defensive warp-in is not forthcoming to deal with this drop, meaning that this could go to town on the mineral line, and that will cut into Ender's longevity as we move into the mid-game. But,
oh my, we're going to have this two medevac drop in the main, 2 going after the natural, and the army doesn't seem to know which way it wants to go.
It's all about to get real in here. The robotics facility goes straight down. Marauders are just...
Oh, mass recall!
The recall.
Like hell!
That is a fantastic move.
Dropping the natural, though. Picking off a couple more units.
Anything he gets is good, but gateways are great because it means that the reinforcement rate of the attack will be slower. Probes are great because it means there'll be less money. So far, not really many probes have gone down, but dNa's lost next to nothing as well.
Lost 1 Marine between both of those drops every time total.
We just need to see counter warpins. Ender basically needs to be defending with warpins. He should be able to hold this with big zealot warps, but instead he keeps pulling his whole army back and recalling.
No, not this time. Not this time. He's going for it. We got drops in the natural. We got drops in the main. We have drops all over the place now. dNa is basically defenseless. He has a little force, but he's going to focus down these Nexus.
Ender's just building a Nexus at another base, and I think that's probably the right decision at this point. He needs to laser down as many of the buildings that can fly as fast as he can. And he's got Stalkers, so this isn't the most impossible thing in the world, but he needs to deny that base racing potential. That one's on fire. He can get that one out of there. Didn't kill the barracks. Why?
And they both are making another proxy CC and Nexus.
They know where this is going is why.
Alright, yeah, he needs to either lift off as many units as he can and get them out of here, or something.
Weapons is actually going to finish. Ender's going to get +1 out of this, which is
we got the nice. Colossus!
What? No way, where? How? What? How?
He used everything he had and just suicided the Colossus.
I can't really comment on that at that point. I think that the Colossus isn't really what's winning the fight for Ender. It's the fact that his army is huge. He has so many zealots, and the Stalkers.
I got the structure tab back up. He's down to 7, 6, 5.
This is it. This is the counter drops. Ender actually does have enough money to put down another Nexus somewhere. And if we look around, dNa's going around drifting as fast as he can, trying to find wherever Ender might have stashed his bases. He's a sneaky one.
Oh, and you know what? The 2 medevacs in the upper right section are going the right way. That's only 3 structures. There are 5. But that would reveal the other 2 pylons unless another Nexus goes down.
The problem right now for Ender is he can't get to these buildings. There is airspace and he has no answer. If he had a Void Ray, this would be absolutely peachy, but as it is, he's rebuilding from scratch. He's got gateway tech. He's building his first gateway.
Oh boy. I mean, he really actually needs to go back and just defend that base. His opponent can't do anything about it, but unfortunately, he's already there.
dNa didn't know this was here until this point, so he's going to stim down to the natural and pick off attempt to just pick off the Nexus.
Oh,
recall! God. The recall!
He's still trying to focus down the Nexus. Oh, he got it!
He got it, but there's enough money for another one! This is, yep.
Oh, and that's the bad sign right there. He had enough for one more.
At this point, Ender can send, he can keep the Zealots at home and send the Stalkers out as a hit squad onto the map and just focus down any buildings. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Stalker hit squad heading out onto the map. They should be able to defend at home, and dNa really shouldn't be able to do anything about this point. So the game ought to be in Ender's hands. It could still not be. That is the thing. It doesn't have to go that way, but with the loss of that command center, it's looking bad. There's floating. The only buildings dNa has are either flying or this refinery here, and he is prolonging the game at this point for little to no return. The last army is being chased away, but if Ender just sits there, if he just hangs out,
just sit there.
I gotta say that building that cyber core when he did is a bit brave. Just getting that. Oh, picks off one medevac. What about 2 medevacs? No, not getting that. Nope. Not quite enough. There is still a command center left for dNa, and it's got mule energy, so we can see some.
And it's going back. Oh my goodness.
He's trying. You've seen the Phoenix out there. The Phoenix is going to drift around, attempt to do what it can, and scout out those extra buildings.
Yeah, well, he's going to do a mule dump here in a second.
Oh yeah. There's not that much left to mine from this base. There we go. He's found the command center.
Yep, and there goes a hit squad. Now, where is the medevacs? They're on the high ground, but half of the army is still here.
I don't think that this can be dealt with the forces that dNa has. It's mostly Marines, and here we have mostly Zealots. They're not charge lots, and if they were, I would go so far as to call this impossible for dNa. Not without the godliest of micros, but he just has to see that this is an unstoppable force.
If he snipes... Okay, there goes the sentry.
It's nice.
There's good stutter.
Great micro.
Oh my goodness, he got 3 units for free. He hasn't lost any out of that. And he's going to get one more zealot.
dNa can go full tunnel vision on this. He knows absolutely that he is able to just basically go, yep, I can micro this force until the end of the day, and you cannot catch me.
Yeah, that's about right. Oh, he lost 1 Marine.
Yeah, the Stalker's chasing away the command center, not quite managing to catch it on fire. But yeah, even with the micro out of dNa, he's got a lot of stuff. He's picked off a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, he has. Look at this. Look at this. Amazing micro. That probe's running away so fast.
He can't do anything anyway. He can build an extractor, that is it. But all of the forces here, no blink. Is he gonna get it?
Yes! We got one.
Another medevac goes down, and his opponent is down to 10 supply to 36. But he should just stay at home.
Oh my god.
With 3 Stalkers here, he can out-micro this. He can out-DPS the forces, and that's it. dNa knows the game is up, and the game is over.